Thank you, sir. You're welcome. Good afternoon. How's everyone doing?
Sir.
Yeah. Still sleeping mode?
Everything that can be sold to the monitors. Size of your charger.
This kind?
Do you want me to write the number on the whiteboard?
No,
And
no.
erase it,
I'm gonna
or-
give you a card.
Okay. And then I'll write it on
You
there.
write it on there. And you'll be coming with the certificate.
Okay.
You can write it with
Yes, sir.
because I want evidence.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Please don't tell me, okay?
Yes,
That's
sir.
the idea.
So you know it.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Of course.
What do you what's on it? Oh no.
How you doing? Good.
I don't know.
Oh, you late? Okay, good. Very good. Usually, if somebody's subscribing to my channel, they will get the, do you want to sit over here? Yeah. You will get the, they will get the notification. And they will basically, and then today I'm also giving another demonstration as well. Because I know the wild loop is a little bit more challenging for people because it's just a little different. You're gonna write your number, but don't tell me, you're gonna be hiding it, okay? I'm gonna ask you to come and type it in. Yes, yeah. But I also decided that using the whiteboard, because sometimes the whiteboard, if I write here, there's people sitting over there, they cannot see it.
You go, that's it.
Thank you so much, appreciate it. So I decided I'm just gonna use my laptop and I'm gonna simulate using the whiteboard, using Word, and it's gonna look really fancy. So this is just for anyone who's sitting on this side and cannot see the whiteboard from this side. Because I understand, because the whiteboard may be a little bit more dark sometimes. And my handwriting sometimes could be also small too. And the colors, you might not see the color because it reflects, the whiteboard reflects, so it's also kind of dark. But I actually tried this. I tried this morning with my CS100. I think you'll really good. I also use the, did you read this series of books? It's called the Berries and the Wicked. That's the font that I'm using. Today, I thought we'd get a little bit
It's all
of.
self-correcting.
How you doing? So if you have not grabbed your seat, please grab your seat and fasten your seat belt and enjoy the show. One more minute? No? Well, it's noon now. Good afternoon, everyone. How was everyone's weekend? Very good? Okay, good. I trust that you worked a lot on your assignments and did a lot of banging on the keyboard and you figured things out. I heard that a lot of people are having fun and some of them are really very close to submitting the assignment. But guess what? Today is a perfect day for you to ask me questions here in class. And I'm also going to hold extended office hours after 2 p.m. after I'm done with my classes today. So I'm going to be in my office from 2 to 5. Anyone who runs into final issues, please come and see me, okay? From 2 to 5, that's another 3 hours extra more than what I've already had in the morning today and in 3 hours. So, questions so far? I expected that no one was going to ask questions. You have a question?
Could you dive into more like how to use a while?
Okay, very good. So, because in this assignment, there is a new construct that I introduced last week, correct? It's a construct for using the while loop. And what did we say about the while loops? They are a looping mechanisms, a repetition mechanisms, that they only stop when a condition comes to true, right? We don't know in advance when we're gonna stop, okay? But we know when a condition happens, I'm just gonna have to take a look, all right? And for this specific question, I actually designed a game for you guys over the weekend. And I decided I'm gonna be playing this game with 2 of you here as volunteers to demonstrate to you how the while loop works. And guess what? We're gonna be coding this game here today in this classroom. So you're gonna be learning about using the while loops. That's gonna feed directly into the assignment, okay? And you're also gonna be learning a new skill on how you can take a look at the while loops and how you can use it differently. So I'm not exactly giving you a solution to the assignment, I'm giving you the concepts, and you can apply this concept to the assignment. I also made sure that I left you a video that explains to you every step on the way of the assignment, and I even give you some pseudocode and some code sometimes when I was explaining that video. So please, when you read the instructions, make sure that you also watch that video as well. Okay? And before we move on to the game, I just want to make sure please, please, get your work done at most by 10 p.m. because when you email me at midnight and you say you have questions, the deadline has already passed, okay? We talked about this before, and I understand if anyone has any exceptional circumstances, I will be mindful of it. But I would like for everybody to try to get this assignment done at most by 10 p.m. in the evening tonight. 11:23 is gonna, 11:55 is gonna be too late. Okay, especially when you're trying to submit and there is an error and you scramble and people sleep at midnight, believe it or not. Okay, all right, let's play that game together. Before we play that game, I asked for 2 volunteers to save us some class hours. Okay, I asked Matt and I asked Rebecca to volunteer to give me 2 different numbers. Okay, the number I do not know in advance, he's written it on a piece of paper. And she also written her number on a piece of paper. You guys are gonna know that number. I will not know that number. But I have a program that is gonna guess it for me. Guess what? This program utilizes a for loop because I don't know when I'm gonna get it right. So it's gonna keep looping until I guess this number correct. Okay? So let me run this game first and I'll show you how it's going to behave. So it's basically saying enter a number, your favorite number from 0 to 200. Rebecca, would you like to come and enter your number here and show those wonderful people what number you choose? Type it on the keyboard, I do not see it. And no one is going to see the number except that you see the card in her hand. Because I hit that number, I put stars in it. You done?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now it's my job to guess that number. So the number is supposed to be from 0 to 200. Okay? So I'm just going to guess, I'm going to say 100 is a good number. My program is telling me, not yet. You have to guess higher. Okay, let me make this bigger too. I'm going to have to guess higher. Maybe 120. It's telling me keep guessing higher. Well, guess what? I don't know when I'm going to know the answer, but I have to continue to ask. Correct? 120, maybe 125. Huh. Now it's telling me you're going to have to guess lower. So maybe I did not know that number. Rebecca, do I know that number? You showed him that number, right? Okay. So 1, 2, 3, maybe. Lower. 1, 2, 2. 1, 2, 1. Correct. So this is the number. And guess what? This is the program that any one of you here can write today. You've learned all the constructs that we need in this program that you can do it with your eyes shut. Now, another one, try to give me a difficult number, but still between 0 and 200, right? I still don't know that number, and you're gonna have to show them the numbers. Thank you. And as you can see, I put stars in there. So these stars, I cannot tell what number that is. Okay? So I'm still gonna, maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm gonna go by 90 this time. Tell me I'm gonna guess higher, maybe, I don't know, 100, 120, 50, okay, 30, 25, 125. There you go. So how many steps did we have here versus how many steps did we have there? Those are not the same number of steps, right? And I guarantee it to you, if I say, I know the number that I'm guessing 121 here, and then I enter 121, I'm gonna get it from one step. So as you can see, the game here is designed to keep asking you and keep giving you the hint until you realize this is my answer. Why did I give you this? Because you have something very similar to that in your assignment. In your assignment, you have a shopping list or no, not a shopping list. That was the code that I actually posted for you last night. Another example that I posted on YouTube last night. The assignment is telling you, you have numbers you're gonna be adding until you say I'm satisfied. Okay, so you don't know when you're gonna be satisfied. Maybe you're gonna be satisfied by 5 numbers. Maybe your friend is gonna be satisfied by 7 numbers. Maybe somebody's gonna be satisfied by 15 numbers. We do not know. Okay, the same story here. You gotta keep adding these numbers to the list. And after you add them, you're gonna be doing something interesting with the list. What is it that the assignment is asking? Find the minimum. We've already done that with the minimum before. Now we're gonna recycle these concepts that we've done in the past. We're gonna introduce them again into this beautiful construct, okay? Now, who wants to help me do this game? Yes? Let me tell you how important this game is. Imagine this is a password, okay? And you're trying to guess that password. Well, right now, it's a very simple password with 3 digits. There's nothing that should stop us from making these digits 4 different sets of numbers, right? Or characters. But today, we're just gonna work with these 3 digits. So if you guys are sitting here craving cybersecurity problems, you're gonna have to learn how to do programming, okay? Because if you know how to crack a password, you will be defensive about it. You're gonna learn how to defend against it when you are a cybersecurity engineer for the NSA or the Army or whichever, your future employees. Now, how about let's play this game together and code it together? Well, first of all, it's basically saying enter this your favorite number from 0 and 200. So I want to make this as simple as possible, okay? And then we can upgrade the game. How do we ask the users to enter a number from the keyboard? What devices did we learn? What built-in devices did we learn? Input device, that's right. So I am just going to use the input device here, like that. And I'm going to be given my hint. What's my hint? Enter a number from 0 to 200. Is that good enough? That's not 0, that's 2. And before I lose it, I have to store it as my solution into a variable, correct? And let's try this and see how it's going to work. Okay, now it's asking me to enter a number between 0 and 200, right? I'm going to enter 124. Nothing beyond that happened. But we were able to use this number and grab it from the keyboard and see it being printed on the screen. But guess what? If I want to do any operations with this one, this number here, is this ready to be done, to be operated on? Remember, we've done this before. This is not a number that is ready. If I want to compare this number as a digit and compare it to another number to say this number is greater than another number or smaller than another number, this number is coming from the keyboard. So what is it that I need to do? Convert it, that's right. I need to convert it into a number that I can work with, correct? How do I do that? Well, the number here is going to be converted using the integer function, the built-in integer function. And I'm going to call this my solution. Okay, now if I ask any question about this number, including the type, it's going to tell me I am an integer versus I'm a symbol. Okay, let's test it. I'm going to print the type of this solution here to prove to you that this is not ready yet. Okay, and let's print that type again after we have converted it into an integer so we can do some operations on it. Now, if I run this one more time, my number is 121. This is the one that I entered from the keyboard. I need to enter the type, sorry. The type here should be a type node. I need to launch the type built-in function to know the type of this thing, correct? And I'm going to do the same thing here. 121. One of them, as you can see, one of them says, I'm a string, which was the first one. You can actually label the print statement. So this is going to be my first. And this is going to be my second, so I know the difference, which one is which. Okay. Here's my number again, 121. And as you can see, the first one was not ready for any operations. I cannot compare any number to it, or I cannot work with it at all. Because it comes as a string, comes as a symbol. But now when I launch this integer function, it converts it into a format that I can do more work with, which is absolutely needed because I need to compare one. Okay, Now we had a number. Now time has come for me to guess that number. So this is my solution that you guys have entered. Yes, sir.
Yeah, just a brief question. I've been trying to limit the number of variables that I'm using.
Okay,
I find that the fewer I have, the less confused I am.
okay.
Is there a reason that we're calling my
The end
solution?
and producing another variable.
Could we just call it solution equals integer solution?
We could, except that some operations, when you're doing the if statement, it might not work when you're actually calling the function on it. So you might get an error. What is Patrick is saying this? Why do I need to create another variable here if I've already received this variable and I already have it stored and I already have the value stored there? Why do I need to create another variable here and call it my solution? Because if you're actually going to compare this variable with an int function on it, the if statement is going to have a clash with it. So, but what you're saying is, he's trying to save memory, he's trying to optimize his code, he's trying to minimize the number of variables that he's created so his code can look very clear. And that's a very, very good way of writing programs. The less programming concepts you use to do the same job, certainly the better for you to come into that code. Very good question, thank you. Okay, so now we know that we actually need to convert this guy into an integer so I can work with it. So we already done that. Now what is the next step? Anyone wants to tell me the next step? I need to receive your guess. Yes, sir.
Like with the while loop.
Before the while loop, I need another value that I can look. This is the most simple way possible. I just want your value, your solution, and I want to enter something, and I'm going to be comparing those guys together. Can we do that? So now, Nate, tell me, what construct do I need to use to get this value, to get that guess from me? The input statement, right? I need another input statement exactly like this to be able to take another number and do exactly the same thing. One of them is going to be for your solution, and one of them is going to be for what? For your guess. And we're going to have to compare if they're equal or not. So now let's do another input statement. Enter your guess. And this is the guess. It's not the solution, right? And I have to do the same thing I've done, because if I work with this now, it's never going to tell me I'm a number. It's going to tell me what? I'm a symbol, I'm a string. We're already gone through that. So now let's try this. I'm going to convert it into my guess, like that. And I'm going to launch this input function, this integer function, I apologize. And now I can ask if my solution, or if my guess equals my solution, definitely the converted ones, right? We cannot work with the symbols anymore. We cannot do math on them. We can actually compare them together if they are symbols, but the minute I'm going to start to say guess lower or guess higher, I won't be able to do these math operations. So I'm just here, I'm only asking one instance, one time, and the story should end. Are those guys equal or not? I'm going to say print yes, correct answer. Okay, otherwise, what is otherwise in Python? Else statement, right? Otherwise, I'm going to say try again. Okay, so let's launch this and see what we're going to do. And as you can see, I am building this solution one tiny little step at a time. Okay, we don't have to build the entire solution all at once. We're going to build smaller components, and we're going to test them as we move forward. We add new features. Okay, let me run this one more time. I'm going to enter my number as 123, and I'm going to enter my guess as 121. It's basically saying try again, because my guess now is not exactly equal to the number that I entered, which was my solution 123. So I already tested the else statement. Now I need to test the if statement. What if they are equal? Okay, 145, and my guess is 124. Well, we already tested that. I gotta have to try again. 145, and then the guess is also 145, and it should say correct answer. Congratulations. Okay, but as you can see, where's repetition in this? We need to start repeating things, right? I need to start repeating for as long as I don't have the right answers. Okay, so if I should keep guessing, I should have a variable that says keep guessing until I'm done. Okay, let's create the variable, and this variable is going to give me a condition that I'm going to employ in my while loop. Are we okay with that? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use keep guessing, and this is going to start with a yes, because I am not guaranteed to start guessing the first guess and get it right from the first time. So my mode is to keep guessing. I'm gonna maybe get it from the second time, third time, 100 times if that's not right. But I have to keep guessing. Now I'm gonna ask. Oops. Here's how we use the while loop. While I keep guessing is a yes, for as long as keep guessing is a yes, I need to repeat this jazz inside here, correct? Because I need to keep guessing, so I'm going to ask to get another guess and another guess, another guess, and then I'm going to ask if this is the right guess or not. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to indent to put these guys. This code now is inside the while loop. So the while loop is going to repeat everything inside here. All right. So if my answer is correct, I gotta tell Python, please stop. How do I tell Python to stop? I have a variable that is set to yes. As long as this variable is not set to no, it will keep repeating forever. So I have to have a mechanism to come and say, okay, if this is correct, can you please stop here, don't loop anymore. There's no reason for us. Mission is accomplished, right? How do we set this variable upstairs into a no? It's just a no, right? Exactly. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this keep guessing, and I'm going to set it to a no. Because I don't want to keep guessing anymore. But and let's run this thing. Okay, let's run this thing. Now remember, we're not given any hint about guessing higher or guessing lower. We're just gonna be guessing, and I'm gonna know the number in advance, so I cannot keep looping forever. But I'm gonna show you the mechanism of how this goes. Do I have any issues with this code? Anyone agrees with me that this is looking good? Everybody agrees? Is this an equal sign or this is an equal sign?
It's an equal sign, but it makes.
What's that?
It's an equal sign, like the double equal, and make sure that this is equivalent to something else.
So is it double equal or a single equal?
Double equal.
Double equal. Is double equal correct?
Should be, yeah.
Is everybody agree with this? What is it that I'm trying to do here? Remember, what I'm trying to do here is to do this. I'm trying to say, I'm not asking a question, remember? In this code, the only question that I'm asking is up there. Now here, all I'm saying is, I have to change the value that I set upstairs to yes, to a no. So what I need to do is to put this guy here, to put that no in here. Does this need 2 equals or 1 equal? What's that?
Double.
Double equal. But the double equal is going to check if they are equal or not. But I don't need to check. I only need to put this guy in here. I just need to put that value in there. I need to say, I'm done guessing. I don't need to guess anymore. This is the assignment operator, guys. This is the assignment operator. I need to tell Python, this value now is no longer yes, this value now needs to stop. So I need to put this value inside here. Remember, these are the foundations of declaring variables, assigning values to a variable. You're gonna have to remember, now when you see them all together, the confusion happens, but you have to always ask yourself, what is it that I'm trying to do? Am I asking a question, or I'm basically putting this value in here? In this case, I'm not asking a question. The only question that I'm gonna be asking is the while loop. That's the one question the while loop gives me. Let's run it and see what happens. So anyone wants to give me a number? Anyone? You want to give me any number between 0 and 200?
112.
112. 112. Okay. So what is my guess? You wanna play that game again? This is a game that we're designing here, right? So tell me, what's your guess?
70.
70. It says try again, and it's not giving me any hints because we did not program it to give us any hints yet, right? Okay, so it's gonna keep asking me, and I'm so lost because I don't know if I should keep higher or lower. But that's the game that we designed. That's why we know up front the value that I'm coding, right? So I'm gonna say, well, if 80 keep working, 90 will keep working, 100 will keep working, 110 will keep working, 111, and then 112. It says the correct answer. Okay. This is a very simplified version of the game that we played earlier. You guys see anything here that we did not learn in this class, or you've never seen before, or you don't feel you cannot do on your own? Yeah? You guys feel comfortable with this? It's on your assignment. You're gonna have to need this. Actually, in your assignment is a lot less complex than this. Okay, now we see how to take a value and how to compare and how to keep moving. Now let's upgrade this game from this very basic features by not telling me, this game is not telling me how to guess, by making it a little bit more informative. How do I do this? Well, I have the guess here, right? The only thing that tells me if I'm done or not, or if I'm right or wrong, is that if statement, okay? But if I'm not right, I should be writing other if statements. If I'm above, I should say else if, guess lower. Else if, guess higher. How do we do this? Instead of having this else statement and make it generic, we're gonna make it a little bit more precise. Else if, we're gonna ask that question now. If my guess is lower than my solution, what am I going to do? I have to guess higher. If I am lower than the solution, I'm going to guess higher. Correct? Are we following? If I guessed 110 and he gave me 112, I have to boost my number. So I have to have a way of saying guess higher. How do I do that? How do I say that? Guess higher is just a simple print statement. Correct? And now I need a mechanism to enter this number. Correct? Otherwise, actually not otherwise. That's another else statement. Else if my guess is higher, then I need to guess lower. You guys remember these operations, greater than and low, less than? We've done this at the very beginning of the class, and we refer to those operators as the exact same ones that we used in elementary and high school. Those are the same operators. Okay? Python gives us very intuitive devices that we can work with. So now, if my guess is greater than my solution, what am I going to do? I'm going to say guess lower. Okay? Am I missing anything? Do you think we should be doing anything else? Do we think we should be doing it? Come on, guys. Yes, Nick.
How do you know which, if it's less than or greater than, like which one to use first?
Because, another very good question, by the way. Nate is saying, why are you comparing the solution by the guess, and how do you know? Well, let me show you. Actually, this one here that we marked for the solution, when I asked you to give me your number that you want me to guess. So that's why I called this one the solution. Okay? Another one, I'm asking also for your guess, to guess against that solution. That's why I called it my guess. So now if I compare my guess to my solution, I would know that this is the reason why we converted into integers, because if they were symbols, I would not be able to tell which one is higher, which one's lower. If there are words, you know, when you get it from the keyboard, Python gives you these numbers. They look like numbers, but they are words. We have to be converted. So that's the reason why we converted it, so we can actually compare. We can compare here this value, if my guess is equal to your solution, then the story ended and congratulations, everybody's happy. If not, I'm gonna be helpful. I'm gonna tell you, please guess higher if I guess lower. And if I guess lower, then I must guess lower. The message that I'm gonna be getting, okay, lower down your bets. That's exactly what it is. So by doing this, I'm gonna continue to go back here over and over and over until I hit this condition. And if I don't hit this condition, I'm guaranteed to be looping. Why? Because I did not set this variable to yes in this or that statement. This is what guarantees this whole story to keep looping. And this is how I force it to say, my condition is not true. Don't ever go inside this loop again one more time. I am done. Once this condition is done, this statement is evaluated, and the if statement and that condition in the while loop is already been satisfied. So I cannot go back into this loop one more time. Okay, let's try. Let's try and see what we've done right and what we've done wrong. And these two print statements were just becoming annoying to me because we've already done them before and we've seen the values and we understand why we converted them. So I'm just gonna clean my code here. So there's nothing different here from what we've done earlier other than just removing these print statements to make the game a lot more cleaner. So now I have a number that is the solution that you're gonna need. That is the solution that you're gonna be given. You want to give me a number?
So, 130.
130. Okay, now I'm gonna enter my guess. I'm gonna say 100. So it says guess high. Now I'm gonna say 110. It's telling me guess higher. I'm gonna say 115. Guess higher. Let me do 140. It's telling me guess lower. So now my solution is guaranteed between 140 and 115. So I can well, it's obviously we know the solution. But I'm just showing you the behavior of how this program now works, that all of us here collaborated and we've written this and we've seen it in action now, how this is gonna work. 140, we did 140, 125, 130, and it says correct answer. This is the answer for your game. This is the answer for your game. Any questions? Any questions? I think people don't get the while loops because they're so simple in syntax, and they do not reveal too much. They don't reveal any explanation. But let me show you another example for a while loop. Another example that's exactly going to be something similar to what you have in your assignment. I am just going to be asking for a number, and I'm going to be entering this number in a list, and I'm going to be saying, do you want to add some more or not? Or actually, instead of a number, I'm going to make it like a grocery list. So here's my grocery list. And I start with what? A grocery list full of goodies, or I start with an empty one? An empty one. That's why I have this function in your assignment that says create an empty list. Okay? All right. Now I'm gonna ask you to enter input. Enter a grocery list, a grocery item. And this is gonna be my item. Okay, now I wanna say, as long as I need to keep shopping, I'll continue to ask for more things. Okay, so keep shopping is always gonna be yes, until I'm satisfied, then I'm gonna say no. While keep shopping is yes. Here's the condition that makes people still confused. This is the condition. It is nothing but an if statement. It's nothing but an if statement with a side effect. So if I change this, this is going to be a condition that's going to ask me if I should keep shopping or not, right? If I should be shopping or not. But if I do this with an if statement, there's only going to be one step. There's only going to be just one step. You guys want to see? Let me show you. So it's asking me to enter a grocery item, I like bagels, and the store is done. It added this, it basically gave me this item. It took that item from the keyboard and set the item, and the story just ended. And I can show you here, if I print this item, it's gonna tell me it's bagels. It should tell me that, I hope. Anyone sees otherwise? Right? So this is an if statement. How do I repeat that if statement for as long as I'm not done shopping? I change this if statement into a while. That's all there is. That's all there is. So I'm gonna change this guy into a while. But remember, if I do this, this is gonna keep looping forever. And I don't recommend that you guys try this because it will run your machine out of memory. Some of these while loops, if you don't stop it, you will drain your batteries, drain your memories, and your machine is gonna crash. Okay? So we're gonna have to stop. We're gonna have to stop this loop from going forever. Then I'm gonna have to ask another question, right? What question I'm gonna ask? Well, I already said I'm shopping. Should I keep shopping or should I stop? If I say stop shopping, then the story should end, right? But let me show you that I also need to stash this item. I need to stash this item in my grocery shopping, in my grocery cart, right? In the basket, because I will lose it if I don't put it in the basket. What good? You go to the grocery store and you grab an item and you don't put it in your basket. And you go check out, your basket is empty. You're not going to take anything home. So let's add this item to your list. How do I add an item to a list? A pen, that's right. Thank you. So here's, I'm going to take this item and I'm going to pass it to the append function. And I need to ask if I should be continuing to shop or not. So here's another input. Continue shopping. And I'm going to store this answer in the same variable, in the same condition. Because if this says yes, then I'm going to add another item. I'm going to be adding bagels and cream cheese and I don't know, peanut butter. Okay, anything. But if I'm done, this is going to be done on the list. The shopping list will after that be full of the items that are already added in, and I can print it after that. So let's do this. So I'm going to add bagels. Okay, do you want to continue shopping? Yes. Enter another grocery item. What item do you guys want to? Ice cream. I like ice cream. Went too quickly. What else? Cheese, juice.
First to be yes.
Oh, that should have been yes. That's right. Let's run it one more time. So bagels, shopping, yes. Fruit. Shopping, yes. What other items? Guava. Shopping, yes. I don't know, grapes. Shopping, yes. I stopped because, as you can see, I did not enter the exact same keyword that should let me stop. When you enter some, but these are the things that we're going to be working with in the future to validate your input. But as you can see, this is the yes with a double E here is as good as anything else. If it's not a yes, then I quit. Now let's see what's in our shopping cart. Let's see what's in the shopping cart. If I run this like that, and I'm going to see all of them here that we've already looked. Now, how do I read this one element at a time? For each item in the grocery list, I'm going to print those guys. My current item. Okay. And it's going to tell me what I have in my shopping list. One at a time. Now, in your assignment, you've been asked to try to loop in two different ways. One with the automatic car way, and one with the manual transmission way. Remember that? This is the easy way without the index. This is the automatic car way. You put it on drive and it keeps driving. Okay? Now let's try to do this with the index. Who wants to help me here? Raymond, do you want to help me?
Sure.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Now I'm going to print this list with an index. So I don't need to worry about the items. I need to identify an index coming from a range. You agree with me? Okay. So here's my index. And this index is going to come from a range that starts with what? A list always starts with?
0.
0. That's right. And how am I going to end? What? Length -1. That's right. But if I do length -1 with the range, it's going to be -1, -1. So I'm only going to do length -1. Length, I apologize. Length of that list. Like that. And now, Raymond, how do I print the items? Well, remember, I don't have the items now. I had those items when I was driving on automatic car, right? Right now, I have an index. I have to put it on that shift. Okay? How do I do this? I need the list name and I need the index being together, right? You remember that? I remember too. So here's my grocery list. Okay? I'm going to specify the index here. And we actually said, what is the index actually? Can you guys remember what the index is? The index is what? Remember the example that I used last week? I took Dane's book and I showed you that the index tells me the position of the content of your textbook. That's the same idea. This index here tells me the position of each element, but it does not tell me what element I have. So I have to use the book and the index together so I know the content. Correct? Let's read the content here. Current item is, and as you can see, it does the exact same thing that we're done with the manual transmission, with automatic car versus the manual transmission. Except now we have two different ways of doing this. Can somebody remind me, why do we have two different flavors for doing this? Yes, sir.
The manual way gives you more freedom and creativity. You can manipulate a lot more of the code.
Exactly. So remind me of your name again.
Bowden, sir.
Thank you, sir. So what is the gentleman here saying is, I have more control here on what I need to do with these elements. And the example that we used last time was, suppose we say we want to get the elements that are in an even position versus the elements in an odd position. So the focus here is going to be on the index versus the actual item value versus the. And then when I say I want all the items in an even position, I'm going to be getting bagels and guava. If I want to get the elements at an odd position, I'm going to be getting what? Fruit and grapes. Right? Are you guys following? Or falling asleep? Any questions about this? Yes, ma'am.
So if you say not to use an index, we're using the first one,
Uh-huh.
and when we use the index, we're using.
Exactly. So the question Elizabeth is asking is, I've given you in your assignment the description of one for loop that prohibits the use of an index. It uses this kind of automatic call. Well, I'm asking you not to use the index because I want you to exercise this one. Okay? And then the other one, I'm saying, I want you to use the index here because you're going to need it in your solution. So that's correct. Did I get your answer correct? Okay, good. Any other questions? Any other questions? Does anyone know how to add this function that will give me the elements at odd versus even elements? We've done that in one of the labs, 2 labs ago. We worked on a function, correct? That was giving me odd or even. Exactly. So now if I want to print only the elements in the even position, what am I going to do? I'm going to take this index. Modulus, that's correct. Divided by 2. And if this is equals what? 0. Then I'm going to be printing the even numbers. The even, let me say that again. I'm going to be printing the elements at an even index. Okay? And let me show you. I just want to make sure that we have this indented correctly. Current item at even position. And let's run it. What do you think? That's the bagel. And as you can see, bagel is at position 0. And guava was what? A position. Those are even or not or odd. 0, 1, 2. That's 2. It's the third element, but because we start at position 0, so the index is going to be. Let me also print the index. I'm going to call it index, and here I'm going to be putting that index in the print statement. And I'm going to shuffle my text a little bit to give a more meaningful print. Item is at this point. So if I run this, it's going to tell me my index, position 0 gives me bagels, position 2 gives me guava. Okay, now who wants to tell me how to print the elements at an odd position, at an odd index? What's that?
You change the 0 to 1.
We change the 0 to 1, that's one possibility. So what Matthew's saying is, I could change this to 1, like that, and it's going to give me the other ones. But I could also have an else statement and do the exact same thing, and this is going to tell me if the index is odd or even. So here's going to say current even index, and here's current odd index. And as you can see, it will label each one of them as odd, even odd, even odd. So they are alternating. So in this case, we've shown how to use the index. We've shown how to extract data using that index from the list. We've shown how to operate on the index, and I could also operate on the values. I could say that would be for a future assignment. I could say, give me all the elements that starts with a G. And we have not covered strings yet, but we will be covering them. We're coming to the end of this class. I want to tell you that on Friday, we're going to have our very first midterm exam. It's going to be a multiple question. You're not going to be doing any programming. You're going to be taking it here in class for 50 minutes. You're probably going to do it a lot quicker than 50 minutes. And like I said, it's going to be multiple questions. No programming is necessary. And you have any questions between now and then, you're going to reach out to me. And the midterm exam is going to cover everything we cover from the beginning of the semester until the day we go into the quiz. So it's going to cover the material from Wednesday, but not from Friday. Any other questions? Are we all set for this? Okay. Is there anyone who is going to email me on midnight saying I missed the deadline, sir? Can you open the quiz for me? The assignment. Okay, then I will see you on Wednesday.
Well, it was right.
Nice study. Oh.